Hello again and thanks for tuning in. I've got a video here for you which is a little exchange between Kier Starmer and Nigel Farage in Parliament.
It may be a great irony that a Remainer Prime Minister used Brexit freedoms as effectively as he did yesterday. Indeed, as number 10 briefed, we are now in a unique position compared to the rest of Europe, and yesterday was a triumph. I also applaud him making such positive words about President Trump and our relationship with America, even if nobody behind him agrees. But here's the key. President Zelensky has now accepted that he's going to sign the minerals agreement with America. And America's going to put in 100 billion or whatever it is, and thousands of Americans will be in Ukraine. Is that of itself enough of a security guarantee? No. Or does it mean that we need to send British troops? And if we do, given the size of our army, how many?
The mineral deal is not enough on its own. But can I just remind him, Russia is the aggressor. Zelensky is a war leader whose country has been invaded. And we should all be supporting him and not fawning over Putin.
You know, one of the reasons why I dislike Kier Starmer as much as I do is because of what he's doing here. At the moment, Kier Starmer believes he's riding the wave of success. Everybody's adoring him at the moment. He's in the Westminster bubble. And all of the global elites and the people around Europe and all the leaders who are also delusional are standing back in awe at his bridge-making capacity, his statesman-like qualities. Sir Kier Starmer on the world stage, the supreme statesman, the supreme diplomat. Look how well he's doing at the moment, and he's the media darling. In the Westminster bubble, they're all fawning over him. Even the Tories are fawning over him. Everybody appears like they're standing in line at this complete load of tosh that he's talking about sending boots onto the ground in Ukraine. We have no boots. There is no army. Nigel Farage stood up in Parliament and said what a lot of people who know anything about the military have been thinking for quite a long time. The British military has been degraded and degraded and degraded. It's been starved of money, it's been forgotten about, and we've come to rely on America. We rely on America for peace in the world. It's disgusting what all of these European countries have done to our armed forces. One of the first duties of any country is to protect its people and protect its borders. And at the same time that Kier Starmer here is having a go at Nigel Farage, for whatever reason that might be, for asking a question, there were almost 600 people invaded our country. 600. By boat, coming across from France. There's nothing we can do about it. It's a very, very, very strange situation when our Prime Minister is standing up in Parliament and talking about securing the borders of another country. It's almost delusional. Now, this exchange here, I think, highlights the character of Kier Starmer. What actually happened there was Nigel Farage stood up. Now, he is from the Reform Party, and Reform at the last election secured 14.3% of the vote, almost 1 in 6, 1 in 7, however you want to put it. But 4.1 million people in this country, and those were of the people that voted 4.1 million. 4.1 million people decided to put an X in the box for reform. So when one of those 5 MPs stands up in the Houses of Parliament and asks a question, they're asking a question on behalf of 4.1 million people. That's why it's called a parliamentary democracy. And so in the middle of this media bubble that Kier Starmer's in, he receives this question from Nigel Farage, who built a case in a very short space of time, which was, if we're going to be sending Americans over there, American people, American businesses, is that going to be enough of a security guarantee for the people of Ukraine, for the people of Europe, to prevent further incursions by Russia in the future? Now, Nigel Farage isn't stupid. He knows that that's not the case. He knows that we're going to be needing American involvement or troops on the ground. And he was making a very short case there and asking Kier Starmer a very, very direct question about troop numbers. Now, Kier Starmer avoided the question completely. He said, yes, of course, that's not going to be enough of a security guarantee for that. And that is an appropriate response to that. But then, in the second part of his question, he changed his tone, and it was one of, I would say, sneering contempt, in which he reminded Mr. Farage that we're not on the side of Putin and that Zelensky and Ukraine need our help, etc., etc. And when Kier Starmer is doing these things, when he's sneering in a contemptible manner at Nigel Farage, he may think that he's playing a very, very clever political game at the moment. But there is a lot of people in this country were watching things like this and watching Mr. Starmer here, watching the fact that on Sunday, almost 600 people came across the channel by boat, which is approximately about a tenth of the amount of troops that we could field at any one time with the British military. So think about that. Mr. Starmer here thinks he's a media darling at the moment. He thinks he's got it all worked out. Meanwhile, he's so concerned about protecting the borders of another country that he's forgotten to protect the borders of his own country. Thanks for your time now. I appreciate it.